Hello friends, Heidi here from Rain Country Homestead. And today I'm going to show you how to replace the belt on your treadle machine. Now this belt is actually new. I just put it on about 3 weeks to a month ago, but I've been sewing quite a bit lately and it can take a month to 2 months for the belt to stretch when it's new, and then you'll have to take it off, tighten it up, and then put it back on, and then it should be good for several years. My last one lasted me 3 years once I got it set where I wanted it. So you get your belt at a set length and run it through, and you figure out how long it needs to be. You cut it to fit. You punch a hole. I don't know if you can see that, but you punch a hole on one end, typically using a real small finishing nail and a hammer with a block behind it, and just hammer it through. And then you'll have this hook. And once you have it on your machine, you hook this in here, and then you use some pliers to tighten it back up. This is basically just looks like a glorified staple, right? More like the kind you'd see in a staple gun. So I'm gonna, I'll show you the different holes that we've got to go through. This machine doesn't fit in this table perfectly. So it actually, this thing is not supposed to be angled downwards like that, but it was the only way we can get this machine to fit in. That was the only place where it didn't fit right. This is a treadle machine. It was not a converted electric machine. It was bought brand new as a treadle machine, and I'll give you a link to that below where you can find that. Anyway, so you'll have a hole here and a hole here. This table is an old table. It's antique, even though somebody along the way had painted it. And then down here, you'll have a loop here. And then there's one, I don't know if you can see it. There's one back here, right there. It's just like this one. And that's where it needs to go through. And then of course, in the groove around this wheel here. And then it'll come up and then hook around this part of your sewing machine. If you have a vintage one, this thing here will be a lot bigger, but you should have a groove, and it goes in this outside groove. Okay, hopefully I have that to where you can see that real good. So I know you're not going to be able to see everything without me having to stop and move the camera every time, but I showed you the top holes that are at the one that's towards the back of the machine, of the side of the machine there, or the back of the cabinet, if you want to put it that way. It's easiest to go down through that one first. Now I'm not going to bother wrapping it around the wheel right now. I just want to make sure I get it around all these little parts and pieces here. And oops, I missed the hole. I missed the middle one back here. That loop that I was showing you. You got to go through that loop. So there's 4 holes you got to go through. And then make sure you get it around there, and then up through this hole. You see, I'm not putting it around the wheel yet. And then up through this hole that's closest to you, to the front of the machine. Okay, and then you're gonna take your hook and push it through that hole. This can be a little frustrating because the leather, especially when it's new like this, is very stiff. And it doesn't, and so is that hook. It's made to be very tight. And I probably cut a little bit more off there than I should have. That's okay, it'll be fine. You just take your pliers and you tighten that up. Get on there good and tight. And then I like to take a safety precaution, and I'm sure I'm the only one, maybe I'm not the only one that does it. Every time I think I'm unique to something, I find somebody else that had the same idea. But it was nowhere in any instructions I saw. But to me, I don't like the fact of that metal being exposed and rubbing against everything all the time. And so to me, I think it's a good idea to just take a little piece of duct tape, whatever color you want to use is perfectly fine. I'm using camo today. And I just wrap it right around where those connect, and that'll protect my machine from getting all scratched up, and that will also help prevent a little extra wear on that hook. So now what you see here is it's loose. It's just looped through and hooked together. So now I'm going to hook it around the wheel into that groove, into that first groove. Okay, and now let me pan back down, and then you wrap it around the wheel. It actually is pretty easy. You just kind of start hooking it, pushing it in around. So, whoop, of course it slips off because I'm saying that. If you weren't watching, this would snap right into place. I did it just a little bit ago to practice. And of course I had no problem when I did that. There. So it snaps right on. All right, so since I'm here, I'm going to try to demonstrate this again, how the feet work. I have my right foot forward. This is my strong foot. Now, if you're left-handed, you may have to switch feet. But my right foot's going to be the one that does most of the driving. But I'm going to push, as I get the spin up here with my hand on the wheel, up on the machine itself, I'm going to push forward, and then I'm going to push back with the left heel. Just like that. And try this again. So my strong foot's forward, my weak foot's back. I can't say for sure, but if you're left-handed, I'm going to assume you may reverse that. So it may be like this. But I put this, I spin, I turn the wheel with my hand on the machine itself as I'm pushing forward, and then pushing back with the back foot, with the heel of the back foot. Forward, back, forward, back, forward, back. Once you have the spin at the top, you just keep pumping. Every time you stop, then you have to come up here and you have to spin it again. Okay? And you see that belt moving through there? Let me see if I can keep this going and run the camera at the same time and get down here and show you all the workings here. And you can see that piece where it's pieced together going through. All right, so I hope that helped. I'm not sure how good that was of an instructional video, but hopefully that gave you an idea how this works. And I'm going to have to get back to sewing. I'm working on several aprons because I've got orders for aprons right and left, but I wanted to show you a few other things. So again, this machine, this is a Genome Treadle. You can find it on Amazon. I'll post the link below to this particular model. However, this is an excellent brand. I love it. It's been the best machine I've ever owned. It has your basics. Well, I guess it has more than just a zigzag stitch, but all I ever need is a zigzag and a straight stitch, and I'm fine. I can make buttonholes without having to have this stuff. It has the reverse option for locking in. It's got your different settings here, you know, for how long you want your stitch or short. This here, this little puck light is something I added for if there's power outage and I just need an immediate light right there, right on the subject of what I'm working on. But I do also, as I shown in another video, I have a kerosene lantern hanging just right up above here to the right. But then I have my electric lamp too that I use, because when you get a treadle machine, it's not electric, so there's no light in it. So anyway, if you're interested in this machine, check the link out below. Again, I love this machine. It's a really great machine, and hopefully you got a little idea of how it works there. I was not quite ready to do this today, so I might be a little disjointed and off, and I apologize if that wasn't clear. Next time I have to replace that, I'll just go ahead and do another video in case that wasn't clear enough. But yeah, I was in the middle of working on this apron here when the belt started slipping, and I just had to take it off and change it. So anyway, thanks for watching. Take care and God bless.